Hello, hello, hello. You're tuning into another episode of The Wunderkind Show. Today's second topic, the Ravens hot seat. And what we're talking about pretty much is breaking down which player is on the proverbial hot seat this year. Now, what I'm pretty much going to do is there's going to be a level of three, because I think there's three players that are on the hot seat this year. Definitely. And for all intents and purposes, none of the three of Lamar. None of the three of them are Lamar Jackson. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, yeah, of course, because it's you. No. It wouldn't make business. I mean, let's be real. He just signed a massive deal. There's no way he's on the proverbial hot seat. It would be impossible. You get where I'm coming from? He's more than safe for the next 2 years. I'm saying this year, proverbial hot seat. And I know a lot of times people like to put everything at the altar of Lamar. You know what I'm saying? The quote-unquote altar of Lamar. I don't believe it like that. But once again, one of the players, and I think people can guess who I'm talking about, that I feel is on the proverbial hot seat this upcoming season, is none other than Odafe Oweh. And here's the thing. Odafe Oweh had an amazing play in an amazing moment in front of an amazing crowd. See, his career thus far was built on one hyped play. Game-changing play. Spectacular play. But instead of looking at it as most part for like most Raven fans or even the front office was looking at it saying, you know, that was just, wow, just an amazing play made in an amazing time. They thought that he could sustainably do that and continue to do something like that for multiple games. And that's not been the case. Okay? And the game I'm talking about, everybody should know. If you're a Raven fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're talking about when we went and played the Kansas City Chiefs. It was at home, crazy crowd. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, is on their feet. Patrick Mahomes got the ball. He hands it off to milk out the clock to try to kick a field goal. And Odafe punches the ball out from the running back's hand. And to tell you how crazy that play is, that play has changed the trajectory of two players' careers. Because everybody, when Odafe got drafted, was like, no sacks. Okay, so he's a great athlete, but he has no moves. And y'all drafted him that high? That was pretty much what most Raven commentators or even YouTubers or even a lot of fans were feeling. They're like, why would you take a guy that had 0 sacks in college so high, right? But after he made that play, they're like, oh, you see? Flashes of greatness, flash in the pan, lightning in our battle. And that's how they did it. But the second player's career that it altered was the running back of the Kansas City Chiefs. That after that happened, he's been in absolute la-la land or limbo in the Chiefs rotation. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And when he was coming out, people was like, man, he's going to be great. He's going to be so special with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And when he made that play and pretty much lost them the game, everything for him changed. That's how massive and the gravity of that play was measured. You understand where I'm coming from? So because of that play, a lot of things that Oweh was doing was like, oh, yeah, he could be that, he could be that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off his stats for the last 2 years. Okay? Just so you understand where I'm coming from. So in 2021, Baltimore, he played 15 games. All right? He had 23 tackles, 10 assists, 33 combined, 5 tackles for losses, 5 sacks. 5 sacks isn't too bad. 1 pass defensed. That's it. So 2022, you're like, oh, he should come out like gangbusters. He got it. You know what I'm saying? Rookie year in the books. Let's get this thing started. No. He actually played 2 extra games. 2. So last year he played every game. Tackles for loss, he had 30. Tackles, he had 30. 13 assisted. So he had 7 more tackles than the previous year. Okay. 3 more assisted. Okay. 43 combined. So 10 overall. Okay. Tackles for losses, he has 2 more. Sacks, he had 2 less. He had no pass defense that year. So for an accumulation of 2 years, he's had 8 sacks. 12 tackle for losses, 76 combined, 23 assisted, 53 overall tackles, 32 games played. And because of that, I think that because of his draft equity and where he was taken, he is definitively on the hot seat. Look, when you take a player that high, you're not just saying, hey, you could be a good player. It has to be almost surety, an assurity that you're a playable, sustainable player. You don't have to be great, but you have to at least be serviceable when you're taken in the first round. And the Ravens have been missing in their first round talent. Let's just be real. They've been missing. And first round talent is supposed to be the easiest part of the draft to nail. Because those other players are diamonds in the rough. You don't actually know what you're going to get. You don't know if they're going to become lazy. You don't know if they're going to become unfocused. You don't understand their drive. You don't understand their attention to detail. None of those things. A lot of players were stars. Almost every player that is coming to the NFL were stars in college, stars in high school. You understand? But just like anything else, the cream rises to the top. And Odafe Oweh has not risen to the top. If anything, he's sunk. And look, I don't hate the guy. I do not hate him. I hope he has a magnificent season this year. Do not misconstrue what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that with Lamar's contract, you understand? Because that's the albatross that everyone's going to go to. That's going to be the excuse that EDC leans on, the excuse that John Harbaugh leans on. You understand where I'm coming from? They're going to say it's harder to build a team and to sustain and have good players when you have such a massive contract on the books. So don't say it's Nitro saying this. I'm just telling you what they're going to be saying. You understand? And Oweh, would you pay him, pick up his 5th-year option and stuff like that, if Ajabo comes in and gives you and is absolutely a beast, right? Or would you say prove it for another year and, we got Ajabo, we can always draft somebody else that's better than you? What would you do if you were in the position of building a team? Hence why I'm saying he's on the hot seat. And it should be relatively it shouldn't be like an argumentative topic or statement. Everybody is leaning into the fact that Ajabo could be a great pass rusher because he has multiple moves, different sets, and he's extremely athletic. And for all intents and purposes, he's fully healed. Everybody has said from training camp, mini camp, whatever you want to say, he has looked absolutely dominating. Now, here's the kicker. If Ajabo becomes the player that they hope he becomes, then Oweh becomes expendable. Because you're not going to want to give him that money because you're going to start counting every dollar. And you're going to say, maybe we can go to the draft to get somebody else that's better than him instead of paying him all that money. Or giving him money that could be used or in a different capacity of the team. You get where I'm coming from? And that's where I'm at with Odafe. Look, I was never sold on him. Never. I hope the guy does great. I hope him the best in the world. But like I said before, I was never sold on him. And a lot of us that I know weren't sold on him. You know what I mean? I was happy when he made the play. I was excited. I was like, oh, my God. But like all things, gravity takes hold. And a lot of them times you have to come back down to earth. And he's come crashing back down to earth. And there's been, I'm not going to lie to you, he has been almost one of the most non-exciting players to watch on the defense. Even that 4.3 speed that was touted and saying, oh my God, he's so fast. I've seen running backs beat him. I mean, he looks slow on the field. Like slow. So you have to ask, how did he run such a fast 40? But once again, how does it translate to his skill on the field? So I'm not, like I say, I'm not spreading hate. I'm just speaking for future intensive purposes what can be the storylines and problems that come out from the 2023 season. And I truly do believe that Odafe Oweh, even though some people truly do believe in him, is on the proverbial hot seat. So good luck to him this season. Hopefully, even if he doesn't end up playing for the Ravens for the foreseeable future, he plays good enough to be able to pick up a contract somewhere else that he can continue his NFL career. Because like I keep trying to tell people, NFL stands for not for long. Not for long. There have been some outstanding players that only lasted in the NFL 4 or 5 years. Y'all remember Aldon Smith? 49ers had 12 sacks or something like that. Gone out of the league in like 4 or 5 years. Faded into obscurity. Never to be heard from again. You know what I mean? So hopefully, he plays well enough to be able to earn a contract somewhere else and stuff like that. But I just don't see it as a big possibility that he's going to be with the Ravens for the foreseeable future. I really don't. Not with if Ajabo comes in and absolutely plays his butt off. I just don't see it. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section what you feel about Odafe Oweh. And do you think he's going to have a breakout season this year? Or do you think he's going to be regulated even further back down the depth chart and eventually be let go and his 4th year or 5th year option will not, or his 5th year option will not be picked up? Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think, all right? But once again, it's another episode of The Wunderkind Show! Thank you all for watching. Now we get down. We have fun and we laugh, but everything we talk about rooted in what? Facts and truth. Please remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. I love the comments. Just be respectful. Respect goes a long way, and we're good. All right? And if you would like to donate to this channel to help it grow, to help us branch out our roots, you know what I mean? To help out on cost, at the bottom of the screen is a QR code. The QR code is to a Cash App. The Cash App is located in the description of every video that we do, and the name of it is $The_Wunderkind_Show. Also available is the Patreon. You can find that in the description of the video. Also, behind the scenes access, Discord, question for subscribers, fantasy, sweepstakes for merch. All those things are tied in to being a part of the Patreon. So go out there and get that. It's worth it. But once again, this is the Wunderkind Show. This show's Natural signing off, and as always, you guys know my slogan. Peace. And I am out of here. Yeah.